I'm Joshua Bardwell, and I know you're going to learn something today because I'm going to tell you the results of battery testing that I've done that no one has ever seen before. I've got Thunderpower Adrenaline. Do they live up to the hype? I always ask that question about battery tests. Do they live up to the hype? Well, there's a lot of hype around batteries, and sometimes the batteries live up, sometimes they don't. We'll find out if Thunderpower Adrenaline lives up to the hype. I've also got a few new formulations from Dynegy. Dynegy hasn't done a great job in my past testing. Let's see if the new ones do any better. And I've got a couple other brands that you've probably never heard of. I hadn't heard of them, and one of them did really well. Teaser! Truepower sent me a 1350 and a 1600, and they did really well in the testing. This is the one that I mentioned in the intro when I said a rock star that you hadn't heard of before. I hadn't heard of them before either. I think they may be relatively new to the scene. There is actually a company, Truepower Batteries, Truepower or something. They don't make lipos, they make like car batteries and stuff, and maybe Truepower should have done a little more due diligence before they named their company. I don't know. I don't know about that, but the batteries did really well. The 1350 had a 22-second longest burst, very, very respectable number, really an extraordinary number. And the 1600 had a 60-second burst. Oh my gosh, it outperformed even the Dynegy 1500, which was the rock star of this test round. Let's see how else they did. 2 bursts for the Truepower 1600. In other words, it basically dumped its whole capacity in one burst with one little 8-second burst to follow. Really, really good. That compares to the Dynegy 1500, which did 3 bursts. So again, very, very similar performance. The milliamp hours for the Truepower 1600, 1036 milliamp hours to 1077 for the Dynegy. Very close, but the Dynegy did edge it out. The Dynegy, however, is rated as a 1500. Maybe the Dynegy's underrated. Maybe it's actually a 1600. It certainly is putting up 1600 numbers in terms of all this stuff. In terms of the watt hours, 14.8 watt hours for the Truepower 1600, 15.4 watt hours for the Dynegy. So the Dynegy beat it. Again, the Dynegy 1500 is certainly acting like a 1600. Should really make you wish I put the weight on the spreadsheet. I'll talk more about that later. And finally, as far as temperature goes, 120 degrees for the 1600, 114 degrees for the 1350. Absolutely nothing concerning about those. Those are wonderful numbers, and the batteries are performing. That suggests that they'll have reasonable longevity. Well, there you go. That is going to bring us to the end of this round of testing, and hopefully you've got some information that will help you decide what batteries you want to buy in the future. If you want to go ahead and look at the spreadsheet, you can see all the test results from all of the batteries I've tested. Some of it's a little bit old, and you probably shouldn't pay too much attention to it, but you can go dig through it, and you can have all the spreadsheet fun that your little nerd heart desires. You may have noticed also that I didn't do 20 amp testing in this round. Yeah, about that. I think the 60 amp testing is really the best way to tell which batteries are doing best, and I kind of feel like the 20 amp testing is not as interesting. I was a little short on time this time, so I said, oh, screw it, I'll just do the 60 amp testing and skip the 20 amp testing. You may have also noticed that I didn't put the batteries' weights in, and that's because I forgot to weigh them. And by the time I got to the point of where I'm at now, I don't actually own all of these batteries anymore. I don't keep, I guess, too many batteries for one guy to use. I move them out into the local community, try and help everybody out, and get feedback also from other people. So anyway, I apologize for that. Yeah, I nothing I can say, but maybe I'll do better next time. And I hope I've still given you useful information. I try to focus on the high points and what really matters. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Let me know what you think of these results. And as always, happy flying.